Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies in the works, that are also going to lend a lot of credit toward the development of this massive expanded universe that's being handed by, of course, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas, Peyton Reed, and other people coming on board to really handle the overall Star Wars franchise. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the Disney Star Wars universe that a lot of Star Wars fans are very excited about is the fact that Favreau and Filoni are really gearing up towards taking a lot of key characters from Star Wars Legends and throwing them into the Disney canon. Now, we've already discussed this several times that they will be taking a lot of highlights from Legends. We're talking about big, monumental moments in Legends from the Throne Trilogy, Dark Empire, the New Jedi Order books, Shadows of the Empire, etc., etc. And that brings us to exactly what Lucasfilm has planned right now for, of course, one of the big Star Wars TV shows that is going to have a very big impact on the Star Wars sequel trilogy movies. Now, we've discussed this before in the past that Lucasfilm is trying very hard to make things right for the fans and to really bring things back to the vision of George Lucas, back to the bare bones basics of Star Wars, to really kind of enhance the experience, to really just move forward away from all the highly criticized material, right? And so far, I think that Jon and Dave have their head on straight with what they're doing with The Mandalorian Season 3, and they're also developing the Book of Boba Fett Season 2 to kind of give it a more darker and grittier tone this time around, and a lot more to come as well. So, by the way, D23 and Disney Plus Day, you know, we're not all that far out from that. That's going to be the home of major announcements. However, with many new Star Wars TV shows and projects in the works by Disney and Lucasfilm, creators Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are about to make big changes to the lore of the franchise with this new approach that they have in stock. Now, it's noted that one of the big plans that Lucasfilm currently has to rewrite aspects of the sequel trilogy movies has a lot to do with the Ahsoka Tano series and the World Between Worlds that will be used in the show and a planned second season of the series that Favreau is pitching to Disney executives that are completely on board with. One of the big plans by Favreau for the Ahsoka series is to rewrite the sequels, is to use Ahsoka as a vessel to reach out to Luke to make some changes with his life using the World Between Worlds. Now, Ahsoka is set to alter aspects of the past that will have a big impact on the sequel trilogy and what choices Luke makes and what he's actually going to make throughout his path to becoming a Jedi Master, and everything that happens with Ben Solo as well. Now, it's currently unclear specifically what Favreau and Filoni have planned, other than the fact that they are already storyboarding plans for the second season of Ahsoka to feature Ahsoka going back to the World Between Worlds to reach out to Luke during a moment of Luke Skywalker's life with Ben Solo at his Jedi training temple that is going to change history within The Last Jedi film. Now, the big change is said to create a domino effect in Luke Skywalker's life toward a more positive path than a negative one as seen in the sequel trilogy movies. Now, the World Between Worlds will have a big impact on key scenes from The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker that will be recreated for the fans to witness so that they can see the changes happening in real time by Favreau and Filoni. Now, let me just pause here for a second because everything related to the World Between Worlds, in case you guys did not know, is something that you have to be very careful with. There's no doubt about that. You know, as we saw in Star Wars Rebels, a lot of fans out there felt that time travel was not needed in Star Wars, but I like to think of this as something different than time travel. You know, it's not really quite the way you think about it with Back to the Future or anything like that. Basically, what the World Between Worlds is it's this realm. Alright, it's this space that allows one to use the Force to really open up a portal or a gateway to a moment of the past or a moment of the future. Now, you're still in the present when you're actually interacting with the past and the future. So it's not necessarily time travel, but more like witnessing elements of the past and future and holding the ability to interfere, but not really going into that point in time. It's a very interesting thing that Dave Filoni created, and it really is something so unique. And the fact that we are going to be getting this in live action in Ahsoka Season 1, and how Jon Favreau is pushing for a second season of Ahsoka to make it into a multi-season show, is very inspiring. You know, I think that obviously a show like Ahsoka deserves to be a multi-season show, and that's what they are moving forward with as we speak. And a lot of the World Between Worlds stuff is geared to be used in new episodes of Ahsoka past Season 1 as well. Now, on top of that, alright, this in turn will lead to major retcons for characters like Luke, Ben Solo, Palpatine, and more to come. With Mara Jade set to appear in Mando 4, she too will have something to do with the World Between Worlds and why she is in Luke Skywalker's life. Now, the Ahsoka series is set to meddle with elements of the past and future, and how Ahsoka is going to lead itself into making key changes to the sequel trilogy movies. This will then have a big impact on Luke's fate as well, and what happens to him in The Last Jedi, that will be somewhat altered by the events of the Ahsoka show. Kathleen Kennedy, at no surprise, is described to not support this idea at all, given that she wants nothing about the sequel trilogy to be changed by Favreau and Filoni. Many storyboards have already been created for these changes toward the sequels to come from the WBW by the hands of Ahsoka Tano, and is going to also involve Ezra Bridger in the scenes with her witnessing of what happens in the past and future for characters like Luke Skywalker and others. Ezra is said to have a big influence on the choices that Ahsoka will make in the series after he is found and saved from her in the show to add more to Ahsoka's character arc. Now, the thing about Ahsoka right now, it is filming currently as we speak. They're moving along very well. In fact, a lot of Ezra Bridger scenes are set to be filmed later this month, as well as a lot of Anakin-oriented scenes and Darth Vader moments as well. The thing about the Ahsoka series that I think is really going to make itself stand out is that it is basically going to be a live-action version of Star Wars Rebels, but more darker and grittier. And that, to me, I think is the perfect formula. It's something that I think the Kenobi series should have aimed for more so, because it would have been more in line with that darker tone, but I digress. The thing about changing the sequel trilogy lore, right, the biggest question of all is, do a lot of fans really care at this point in time? Well, some fans are going to really be excited about this. Other fans are just going to shrug their shoulders and be like, you know, it's a waste of time. And I don't really blame the fans that are saying that this is going to be a waste of time, but I think that this is going to be a very entertaining element or addition to the Ahsoka series, and how it's going to change sequel trilogy lore, how it's going to change Luke Skywalker as a character, and everything that comes in between the sequels and the original trilogy movies by George Lucas. So Dave Filoni is very hard at work. He's working around the clock on this to make it happen, and he himself even said that the Ahsoka show is going to be very strong with the Force. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.